Hey guys, welcome back to Deadwood Garage. All right, this is it. The finale. We're finishing the floor in this video. We're getting sound deadening down. First we're gonna finish welding all the floor pans, wheel tubs, get the sound deadening down, and start laying the wood in the back for the casket floor. I did start to mess with the carpet, and I realized, oh wait, I need to get the wiring done before I can lay the carpet down because the wiring has to run underneath the carpet. So I paused on the carpet, and in the next video, we're gonna go through, we'll get the batteries installed, and we will get this spaghetti mess of a wiring harness all sorted out and get it ran. That way we throw the carpet down. Carpet will go easy. That's just lay it down, stretch it out, make it nice and even and pretty. I've got some double-sided carpet tape that I'm going to use to kind of help position it, keep it in place until it kind of relaxes. I'm using an indoor-outdoor marine type of carpet. It's got a good rubber back on it, so once it kind of gets some heat in it, it'll kind of mold itself, so to speak, to the shape, and it should take the shape of the floor quite nice. There's not too many compound curves in the floor, maybe up under the dashboard. I got to fudge it up there a little bit, not a big deal. But like I said, this video, we're going to knock these floors out and get this car one step closer to being on the road. And on that note, on being on the road, June 13th is right around the corner. If you don't know, June 13th, that Friday is Hearsemania down in Lima, Ohio at the Sayre and Schofield assembly plant, where this car came from. I really, really, really wanted to have the Deadwood there. I don't think it's going to happen. There could be some miracle that happens between now and then, and it's roadworthy by then. But I don't even know if roadworthy is going to be enough for me to take it to its first show. She is still pretty rough looking on the outside. And inside, obviously, won't have any of the interior done at all. I just don't think that's going to be a possibility this year, unfortunately, which really, really bums me out because I thought it'd be really cool to take her back to where she was built. Maybe some of the plant employees would get a kick out of seeing what I've done to it. Maybe I could find some people that worked there in the 90s and ask them why Scotch locks were a good idea in the wiring harness. We're gonna touch on that next video, but yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again, especially the mid-90s Cadillacs, they were thrown together. When General Motors announced that the BD body, 96 was the end of the BD body car, which meant the end of the rear-wheel drive full-size sedan for General Motors, a lot of funeral homes rushed to get orders put in. Obviously, I know like Lincoln, the Panther chassis is going on well into the 2000s. That, coaches were built out of that. We've seen some Chrysler 300s, the 300C. Crystal made a handful of those. There's been a few other rear-wheel drive platform coaches built, but most funeral homes, the prestige was the Cadillac. That was the car to have. Your last ride should be in a Cadillac. So a lot of orders for these bathtub coaches were put in, and all the coach manufacturers, S&S, Superior, they are not the only ones. All of them have their flaws, have their spots where you're just wondering, what were they thinking? The use of galvanized sheet metal in some places instead of just properly painting and primer and painting a panel. I guess it was kind of like boat manufacturers. If the customer isn't going to see that spot, it don't matter. Yeah. Ask me how I know. See these scars? Yeah. That's honestly like, I don't know how well it picks up in the video, but you see how badly scarred my arms are, even through the blackout. And that is primarily from sticking my arms in places on boats that they don't belong. And I come back bloody and chunks of fiberglass stuck in my arms. Well, these coaches aren't quite as bad. There are some spots on here that made me really question what they were doing besides just kicking cars out the door. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get busy. There's some sheet metal work to be done. We'll throw some time lapse up and get rocking and rolling on this. Well, that was a first. I ran out of welding wire and gas at the same time. Ran out of wire, get over there, I look at the tank, and the tank has got 7 PSI in it. And which would explain why that last weld up there was a little crappy. Oh. There, we'll buzz these last couple welds in together. How's that sound? Hey, that's better. Explains why my wire feed was getting a little funky there at the end too. Last weld. There we have it. Tank bracket fully welded in. All right. Want those cool, get them all ground down, and we'll go ahead and get my bead of sealant up in there, the body seam sealer. And at this point, guys, we're ready to lay sheet metal down over top of all this. Exciting stuff. All right. There we go. All our bracing is done. Come on. Hopefully that's a good view. There we go. There they are. Got our tank ports in there. And yeah, right there. Got our ports to come down for the main tank, go into that, and then leave this tank and go up front. So, sweet. It is now time for sheet metal. Look at this. Look at this. What's up, guys?
Not much.
Brought the sweetheart out.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Hi, sunshine.
Hello.
Go. All seam sealed out. Don't mind that primer, I was just messing around. That will actually be the next step, is to get a coat of paint on this, and then we can get the sound deadener down. Once sound deadener's down, get our carpet laid out here, get our wood floor laid out back there, and then start our air management. Well, there is the sound deadening. Made a huge difference in the way the floor sounds and feels. Pretty happy with this stuff. It's Silas Sound Deaden Thermal Shield Max. Well, this is the Max. Silas is the name. I got it on Amazon. This was the thicker stuff. Can't remember. I think this is 120 thick, and the black print stuff that's from here back is 80. I think it's 80 mils thick. Pretty happy with it. Got it off Amazon. It was significantly cheaper than some of the name brand stuff, and I don't frankly see a difference in it. I've used Dynomat and Killmat in the past. Really, it's just butyl rubber with a foil back. I will say the Max, the foil back seems to be just a tad thicker as well than this stuff, but there was a few spots even on the Max I kind of pushed through the back a little bit. Not a big deal, not a worry. Pushed through the back of Dynomat too, but no, I'm happy with it. Sound deaden from the firewall to the back seat area. I am not going to sound deaden from the rear axle back. That's going to get plywood and then wood flooring put down on top of it, so it'll have a fair bit of dampening to it back there as well. I may order another box of this. I wouldn't mind getting these side panels deadened out, and if one box covers this much, I can get the side panels here done and probably the inside of the doors too, just to kind of give them a little extra to them. Yeah, real happy. So should be seeing the big brown truck sometime today. It'll be delivering my carpet. So we'll be able to get the carpet in, and I'm going to start getting the plywood cut to put the casket floor in. So stick around. We're almost done. Almost done. I'm excited. Well, guys, I started to lay this carpet out. Got the shifter boot installed. That way I had kind of a central location to run the carpet. And then the thought occurred to me, I probably need to figure out this wiring harness before I lay the carpet down.
All right. Mistakes were made.
Because those wires are going to need a home. Now, granted, most of the wiring will run under the car. Well, a chunk of that wiring right there will be gone. Mainly the wire that's up on the dash. That's the old radio receiver units right there, because in the sedan or wagon or hearse, the radio receiver was on that side. The gem module was on this side. I am actually going to mount the gem module to the inside of the partition wall, mainly that way I don't have that much more wire to run. And all of this wiring will be consolidated, brought to the partition wall on the inside of it, the driver's side of it there. And then I will drop the rear wiring for the car back. And that's only going to be the tail lights, brake lights, reverse lights, fuel pump, and fuel sender is the only thing that's going to run back here. As far as interior wiring for the lights and whatnot, I'm actually going to run those up over in that trough and then down each side for wiring. It'll be like the partition wall will be right here. It'll come up the partition wall, go in that trough up there, and then drop down. That way I don't have anything under the carpet. So the good news is carpet is here. It's just a kind of an indoor, it's a soft indoor-outdoor. It's got a real nice backing on it. Suitable for marine. It says automotive. It's flexible, but it doesn't stretch very well. So it might be entertaining getting it to conform to all the different humps. But I think some carpet tape and some elbow grease will get it in there. But yeah, at least, you know, we have carpet. All right, guys. Well, there's the end product. Rollers installed. I mean, they're just sitting here. Got this trim panel put in, gas filler, and we are paneled all the way up over the rear axle. From there, the back seat will start from there and go forward and take care of the rest of that. So yeah, there's the floor, all done finally. I cannot tell you how happy this makes me seeing this much progress on the car. It took forever to get here. I'm sorry it took this long to get a video out. For those who like watching this, they've probably been wondering, hey, what's going on? Primarily work. It's that time of the year. We're just coming up on Labor Day weekend. Or no, I'm sorry, Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. We're just coming up on Memorial Day weekend, and everybody wants their boats in the water. Up until about today. The mad rush kind of slowed down today because everybody's seeing what the weather is going to be looking like for the weekend. And a lot of people are realizing, it's not exactly boating weather. So things have slowed down for us today a touch, just a little bit. It's not quite as crazy. It's still a madhouse, but work's been slowing me down. And then obviously having a toddler and an amazing wife, soon-to-be wife, keeping them happy, that's a full-time job too. Yeah. So my time on this car sometimes can be limited, which I don't mind. I would rather my son know who I am and keeping the wife happy than get this done and alienate my family. Nobody wants that. So I think I'm going to call the video here tonight. I'm happy. Next video, like I said earlier, we're going to get the wiring straightened out. We'll get our batteries properly installed. I've got some, it's somewhere around here. I got some angle iron. We're going to fab up some battery trays. Pop the 2 battery trays in right there. And drop our wire down. Get it ran up front to the factory car wiring. And then we'll have our wiring set up for the compressors and everything else back here. And possibly consider maybe a little something for a stereo. I'm toying with the idea now that I'm seeing exactly just how much room I have. A traditional coffin shaped subwoofer box wouldn't look too bad right here. Maybe put a single 12 in it, ported just right. Just enough to add a little thump in the back. Something like that. But yeah, we'll explore the stereo way down the road. But next video, we'll get the wiring knocked out, get this, get the taillights working, fuel pump hooked up, all that good stuff, and fire it up again. Make sure everything still works. And then we'll move forward from there. I do need to redo the front air ride. I got new bags. I want to put shocks up front. And I want to modify the sway bar and sway bar end links so that way this bathtub isn't rolling, going around corners. Got to tighten that up in the front. Knock that out, and then put the air management in. Right about where that DeWalt tool is sitting. Got my air tank sitting there. 4 compressors back here. At least that's the plan right now, is to put all 4 compressors up there. That may change. More and more I think about it, the more and more I don't like the idea of having 4 loud compressors back here. It's going to drive everybody nuts. Beans, my air tanks, the 2 3 gallons are down here. I may look into putting the compressors off to either side back here. Excuse me. I'm still going to have the big 10-gallon up there. Working with Nick's over at Deadwood brand. We're going to work up some cool graphics to make it look like an embalming fluid tank, which is part of the reason I put the big mechanical gauge on top, kind of give it just a touch of steampunk, and just to make it look cool. But yeah, the 10-gallon's still going to go up there. And like I said, I may, once I get these batteries installed in here, I may look into tucking the compressors in here as well. Just maybe run them into a T and drop that T down to the 2 3-gallon tanks underneath. And then the 10-gallon will run out, drop down to the 3 gallons. Then from the 3 gallons on each side, they'll run up to the manifold. We'll see. That's all down the road. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share it if you will. I appreciate all that. Anything to help bump me a little bit more in the algorithm and keep the subscriber count rising. I've gained about 60 subs since the last video, which is fairly impressive considering all I've put up is a dozen little shorts here and there. So yeah, it's pretty cool seeing this many people actually tune in and watch. So again, thank you so much. Catch you in the next video.